on senior staff. So I go to the office and, yeah, I make a group of senior staff, 12 of them I think it is, redundant. I'm at the office, I make a group of staff, redundant, 12 of them I think, including Ryan Duckett, the Chief Executive Officer. So we have a skeleton staff now, don't we, at the club? And then I go to Odsel as well, and I make all the coaching staff redundant. So I can appreciate you must think I am mad to do that, because how are we going to compete on Sunday without any coaching staff? Well, the answer to that is, because this is such a great club, and because there are people out there who really care, I have had offers from people, numbers of people, to act as interim CEO and interim disgusting. But where did you imagine I would find the money to pay these wages? Okay? Okay, well I'm talking
to the end, please.
Yeah, I've heard Brian's comments. No, he doesn't deserve it. Of course he doesn't deserve it. But it's the dire circumstances that I find the club in. I've got to reduce these wages. I can't deal with the players. The players account, as you probably, those of you who follow these things, the players account for nearly 70% of the wages that go out. So I've got to deal with them in a more subtle way. But I need someone to advise me on how to do that. So I'm waiting until I can find someone to take over for the coaching. That's it. Now the most important thing in all of this is not what I've just been talking about. The most important thing is finding someone who will. It's not a great deal of money in my view. It's probably hundreds of thousands, but it's not millions, that would enable them to buy this club and fund it, fund the losses, because that's what we've got. We've got a loss-making business. Fund the losses until someone can change the playing staff around, increase the income coming through the gates and from the commercial activity, and get this thing on an even Steven. So I need to find someone who's prepared to do that, to sit alongside me and help me with all these difficult decisions that I've got to make.
Mr. Guilfoyle, there were 2 or 3 potential investors.
Well, let me tell you, there's nobody, right? There is nobody by my side, right?
I just spoke to a representative of one of the investors a few minutes ago. They've been requesting information from Wednesday and Thursday of last week, and still not even have an information memorandum.
That is true, I can back it up.
Let me tell you, if you believe that there is some cunning plan by which previous directors or shareholders I have had no discussions with any past or previous directors or shareholders about buying this club.
These are potential investors who aren't shareholders or directors.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what, can we give us the details after the meeting and we'll speak to them.
Right.
There's no issue. You can get on with it if that's the case. Well, we have got, you know, simple as that.
So you can imagine.
Tell us that. Tell us that.
This guy is doing it to more information about our club than the club has done for the last 2 years. Well, let's listen to him. Let's see what he's got to say, because he's running our club at the moment.
Because as you can imagine, was to make sure that we had a team playing against Wigan, fulfilling that fixture against Wigan. There was a kerfuffle about medical insurance. We confirmed it was in place, but then there were issues. So we overcame those issues, and then my next situation is, and I was privileged to watch the team win at Wigan, as you know, my next situation is deal with the redundancies. Now in amongst this, and in amongst all the calls from the media, who I try to do something like this, in amongst all these calls, yeah, I get texts, and I get stuff. I don't have voicemail, and I'm picking up these texts, and we're making a list of these interested parties today. But I tell you honestly, nobody is kicking my door down. I'm getting people who are saying, oh yeah, I'm interested. They're declaring an interest, and they're asking for up-to-date figures. Well, I don't have up-to-date figures, do I? Because this morning, I effected redundancies that reduced the payroll by £50,000 a month, £600,000 a year.
2 parties have asked for information that hasn't been provided.
The senior employees, not only Mick, I had to sack the senior employees, those that earn the most. Because, why did I sack them? Because I've got the opportunity to replace him with a coach who will cost me next to nothing. Approach you for more money, but what you can do is show up at the games. That's what you can do for me, both home and away, and then hopefully we can try and deal with the increased income we get from that. Or most fundamentally, and I don't know whether there are MPs and council people here. What I need to do is, you know, if Bradford as a city wants this club, then I need them in some way to motivate the business community of Bradford to come forward and rescue this club. Because there's no game being played. If I can't find someone in a period of 2 weeks, then I become legally obliged to pay wages, and then I've got real difficulties. So there is no game. I know that I don't have time to read Twitter and the blogs, but I know. Well, there's something confusing, isn't there, on the BBC website? Confusing to me. If the club goes into liquidation, that's the end, I think. But can it be rebought? Well, let me tell you, the franchise with Super League, I think, has currently been. They've pointed out to us that they could suspend it, but they haven't done. They're waiting to see developments. They're indicating that they're prepared, the board will be prepared to consider a transfer of the franchise, subject to the quality of the individual we offer them. So they're looking for somebody with deep pockets, I guess, somebody respectable and with deep pockets. In terms of a liquidation, then I think the franchise is finished, and presumably the club would then reform and seek entry to one of the lower leagues. But that's, I think, I've seen the sentiments expressed by the Wigan chairman already. He purported to speak for, I think it was the Warrington chairman as well, and they're all saying we need Bradford in Super League. You know,
and we give them the biggest crowd.